Yo, how's it going everybody? It's me, Arctic. In today's video, we're going to be going over a complete Collei weapons guide. Now, if you don't know how Collei's kit works, make sure you guys go look this up first. It is going to be on GenshinHoneyHunterWorld.com. This is going to basically show you what she does. Really make a video on it, but I am going to reference what her actual kit does throughout this video. But before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to get to 11,000 subscribers. It would really help me out a lot if you do, especially since I am just getting back after quite a big break. So a few things to know about Collei before we actually start choosing weapons. One of them being that Collei is an actual Dendro Bow character, so we are going to be choosing a bow weapon for her. Another being that she does focus very strongly around elemental reactions and like support for like teammates, I would say, as the Dendro element. But one of her passives also does have a little bit of factoring in with like attack percent, so I think there's definitely two ways to kind of go with her. Either going with like elemental mastery and trying to increase like elemental reaction damage, or going for like attack and trying to increase like some of the benefits you get from that. And we're going to go down the list of weapons and see which ones are actually going to be good on her. I am not going to be covering the weapons that I don't think are going to be viable on her just for the sake of time, but if you want any information on those, feel free to leave a comment. I will try to answer to the best of my ability. But the first one we're going to start off with is going to be the Raven Bow. Now this one could actually work pretty nicely on Collei. Just because it has an elemental mastery substat, so already it's going to have some benefit right there. And then its passive increases your damage against opponents affected by Hydro or Pyro. Now I don't remember exactly if that factors in with like elemental reaction damage, or if it's just like her base Dendro damage, but either way it's still pretty decent, and at an R5 version of this it could still be a pretty good amount, especially if you are running a Hydro and Pyro team with Dendro support. 4-star options, the Stringless is going to be a very solid option to use, and this is pretty much going to give you some elemental mastery right here at 165, so a lot more than the Raven's Bow did. This also gives you an elemental burst and elemental skill damage bonus at 24% at R1. Really good because pretty much all you're going to be using Collei for is her elemental skill, which has some pretty good AoE damage, and also her elemental burst, which has some pretty good AoE damage over time. Hunter is potentially going to be a good weapon to use on her as well, just because it has a large amount of base attack, so it's buffering out, like compensating for Collei's like low base attack already, and it also gives you an attack percent buff right here. Of course, its passive is going to be very good if you are off the field most of the time, like Collei is going to be. And so this gives you a pretty decent amount of like damage bonus along with that attack percent, so it could actually work pretty well with her passive combined. Cliff Warbow is a pretty viable weapon as well. It has a high base attack and also comes with crit damage instead of attack as its substat, so if you are going for more of a damaging Collei, I think this could actually be pretty good. This also has an attack percent buff right here after defeating enemies, and since Collei I think is going to do a pretty decent amount of damage, I think she's definitely going to be having the opportunity to defeat opponents, especially if you are fighting like a group of hilly trolls or something like that. You're going to be able to probably like murk them with just like your elemental skill pretty easily, and then the resulting reactions that come after that. Vonius Warbow I think will have its place, but primarily for just an emblem set build. This has a lot of energy recharge, and then its passive is going to give you some like extra elemental particles, so it's going to be pretty solid, I would say, for that. Sacrificial Bow is, I think, going to be one of the better options to actually use on her. Now, pretty much the primary reason behind this is because you have a chance to reset her elemental skill, and since her elemental skill is on a 12-ish second cooldown, this is going to actually be pretty good, especially if you are relying on Collei to be your main Dendro applicator. Because pretty much at the end of the day, you're probably going to end up using Dendro for the purpose of just getting a whole bunch of extra elemental reactions through the Dendro elements along with other combined elements, so it could be pretty good. 5 stars, I think Elegy of the End is going to definitely be a solid option to go for. This gives you a lot of good benefits on its passive right here, like increasing your elemental mastery, which is going to be good with Dendro characters. And then it also gives you these stacks right here that'll increase your elemental mastery and attack further. Then this weapon also comes with a pretty high base attack and some energy recharge, so you're going to have Collei's burst up a lot, which is going to be pretty nice to have. The Polar Star I think is also going to be another viable option to use as well, because this does give you a passive that increases your elemental skill and elemental burst damage, but then it also increases your attack based on dealing damage with like your pretty much your full kit. So pretty much even if you're just using your elemental skill and elemental burst, you're going to be able to get this extra attack right here, which is going to be pretty nice. This also comes with crit rate, which is going to be good for overall damage reliability. Several new weapons that are going to be coming out, one of them being this weapon right here. I'm not really going to say its name because that's kind of a little bit of a spoiler, but this one I think is going to be pretty viable. It says it obtains the teachings of the forest effect while unleashing elemental skill or burst, increases the elemental mastery by 60 for 12 seconds. This effect will be removed when switching characters. When the teachings of the forest effect ends or is removed, it will deal 100% of attack as damage to one nearby opponent. And that can be triggered every 20 seconds. So it's going to be relatively solid. I think this is actually going to be tailor-made for Collei, is what it's kind of looking like from this. It does come with an attack percent substat right here, and keep in mind that all of this information right here could be subject to change actually before release, so it might get better, it might get worse, who knows. And then we also have another bow right here, another 4-star bow right here, that basically triggers the flounder effect after using an elemental skill, dealing 80% of attack as AoE damage. So AoE damage is pretty good. It's based on attack right here. Upon hitting an opponent with an attack, flounder will be removed after 15 seconds or after causing 3 instances of AoE damage. Only one instance of AoE damage can be caused every 2 seconds in this way. And it can be triggered once every 12 seconds. So it seems like it has a little window that you can use to trigger this, which seems pretty interesting. This comes with energy recharge as a substat. So honestly, I don't think this is going to be too great of a weapon on Collei, but still it has like a pretty decent synergy with her kit being the 12 seconds and Collei's skill being 12 seconds also, so this could actually be pretty decent. And then also the last weapon right here, which is going to be the new 5-star bow. This one actually is looking pretty good because it says gain 12% all elemental damage bonuses. So this works with basically any character. Obtain the tireless hunt effect when hitting an opponent with a charge attack. This effect increases charge attack damage by 160% of elemental mastery. This effect will be removed after 12 charge attacks or 10 seconds. So this definitely seems like more of a Tighnari focused weapon. However, it's still going to have a pretty good amount of like crit rate as a substat right here. And then you also have that extra like elemental damage bonus, so could potentially be viable. I just wouldn't really recommend it. That's going to be it for the Collei weapons guide. I am going to be making an artifacts guide for her as well as the other characters. I think we've got like Collei, we've got Dori, we've got Tighnari, and then we've got the Dendro Traveler. So I'm going to be making guides for basically all 4 of those. It's been me, Arctic. I'll see you all in the next one. Farewell.